Thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. An 11-man advisory committee has been inaugurated by President Muhammadu Buhari for the Niger Delta Development Commission. This, the president said, is in furtherance of his administration's new vision for the area as well as policy thrust aimed at achieving sustainable peace, security, infrastructure and human capital development. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has the details.
Apart from the 9 governors of the Niger Delta region, membership of the advisory committee for the NDDC also comprises 2 presidential nominees, Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs as well as that of Environment. Inaugurating the committee in line with the provisions of Section 11, Subsection 1 of the NDDC Establishment Act, President Muhammadu Buhari described as unacceptable that the people of the Niger Delta region were left with abandoned infrastructural projects and substandard social programs designed to improve their living conditions.
To date, the EFCC and other agencies of government have recovered over 3.7 billion naira in cash, as well as various assets worth billions of naira from some contractors and some directors of the commission. Furthermore, I am told that government agencies have placed liens on over 6 billion naira of assets which are being investigated. These abuses of the past clearly show the need for strict and diligent oversight going forward.
The inauguration of the advisory committee ahead of the reconstitution of the NDDC board, the president said, is to enable government develop insights into the affairs of the commission, which will properly guide the board when reconstituted after the ongoing forensic audit exercise.
I therefore want to urge this advisory committee to discharge its responsibility diligently and effectively, working closely with the ministry. Our new assignment requires selfless service to our people in the Niger Delta. I look forward to seeing positive changes in the affairs of the Commission as well as on the ground in the Niger Delta region.
The committee is charged with the responsibility of advising the board and monitoring its activities. Governor Ifeanyi Okowa of Delta State, who spoke on behalf of the committee, assured President Muhammadu Buhari of effective collaboration and cooperation in the best interests of the Niger Delta region and the nation's economy.
The cooperation between the states and the NDDC has not been strengthened over time, and we have seen various cases of duplication of projects and projects that possibly are not properly planned. But I believe that with the inauguration of this body, we will now be able to sit down, meet together, work in collaboration and supportively to bring greater development and developments that are more sustainable to our people, thereby reducing the pressures that the federal government would have from the peoples of the Niger Delta.
It will be recalled that in February this year, President Muhammadu Buhari approved the reconstitution of a 10-man presidential monitoring committee chaired by the Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, to monitor the operations and activities of the commission. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
A policy document that will encourage synergy between member states of the Lake Chad Basin, regional institutions and international organizations have been identified as measures towards ameliorating challenges facing the Lake Chad Basin currently. The document was presented to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, when he met with a delegation from the Lake Chad Basin Commission in Abuja. Abdul Salam Jubril has details.
Several years, the prevailing narrative about the Lake Chad is that of a shrinking reservoir which has been affecting the livelihood of people around the area. However, recent efforts by countries surrounding the lake have been geared towards changing this narrative. This document seeks to encourage actors to key into a common approach towards addressing the challenges.
The purpose of this campaign is to sensitize not only actors within those 4 countries, but also our partners, our international partners, to efforts that are being made to coordinate the stabilization objectives of those four countries.
I should also stress that although original in scope, the principle of national ownership is at the heart of the strategy. It is considered vital to ensure that the significance of this principle is appreciated and given the chance to serve as a guide in the implementation of the strategy.
Regional stability in bringing about the much-needed promotion of development in the region also came to the fore. In Abuja, Abdul Salam Jubril, NTA News.
There is hope in sight for rural communities without access to electricity in Nigeria as federal government electrification project received more funding to the tune of $200 million from African Development Bank. Joshua Ojito reports.
It is estimated that about 80 million Nigerians who are predominantly rural dwellers lack access to electricity. To bridge the power deficit, federal government is intervening by exploring renewable energy potential to light up rural communities, and the $200 million intervention fund from the African Development Bank, key players say, has come handy.
With this amount of money you are putting into projects like this, we will see greater improvement in off-grid power supply and development in communities.
Under the Nigeria Electrification Project, which Rural Electrification Agency is implementing, solar hybrid and mini-grid will be built for selected communities in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, with 8 federal universities and teaching hospitals benefiting from the power intervention.
We will continue to use all the tools at our disposal to ensure that in the not too distant future, this whole talk about lack of access to electricity will be a thing of the past for Nigeria.
The rural electrification has to go to the unserved and underserved, and we have to be able to measure what impact that is making. So this is beyond taking electrons. This is about the economical growth of the local communities.
Upon implementation of the project, it is expected that more than 500,000 people will have access to electricity in the country. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
To legislative matters now. Senate has called on the federal government to upgrade the current Almajiri schools in the north and to build more schools to accommodate all children of school age in northern Nigeria. This followed a motion of urgent public importance by Senator Adamu Alero, which stressed the need to review the Almajiri system and integrate it into modern system of education in Nigeria. The motion also canvassed collaboration among all tiers of government to address this challenge, while the National Orientation Agency has been advised to carry out sensitization on the negative impact of Almajiri system on its children. The Chairman, Senate Committee on Women Affairs, Senator Betty Apefi, drew the attention of the Senate to the 2020 International Women's Day, which stressed the need for equal opportunities for both men and women. The Senate has mandated its joint committee to engage the executive on the dwindling world economy, especially falling oil price. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has written Senate requesting the amendment of the 2019 Finance Act, which among other issues seeks to clarify that the VAT increase from 5 to 7.5% took effect from 1st February 2020 and that animal feeds are also exempted from VAT. The House of Representatives has set up an ad hoc committee to look into the continuous drop on the price of crude oil at the international market due to the coronavirus. The lawmakers, while considering the issue as a matter of urgent public importance, noted that the continuous downward trend recorded in the price of crude oil, now at about $30 per barrel, will have an effect on the 2020 appropriation, which was benchmarked at $57 per barrel. The House leadership is also to interact with ASU, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Labor, Salaries and Wages Commission, among other stakeholders over the threat of strike action by ASU. In the meantime, plenary commended the Nigeria Armed Forces for the recent successes recorded in the fight against insurgency in parts of Borno State. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila at plenary read a presidential communication seeking an amendment of the Finance Bill 2019. Be concerned, be alert, but do not panic is the message experts are preaching against the spread of coronavirus in Nigeria. Discussing the topic advocacy on coronavirus on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria, Minister of Information Culture, who is among the guests, said, in the absence of a cure for the virus, for now, prevention is the best foot forward. Ekemini Williams has the report.
Recently reported second case of COVID-19 in Nigeria has continued to raise concerns. However, Incident Manager, National Coronavirus Emergency Operations Center, Dr. John Oladejo says there is no cause for alarm.
No. The major thing we did was we ensured that we had all the contact under isolation. So there, in fact, is a good practice for us in Nigeria. It is a plus for us that we were able to have all our contacts in the same place, and we are monitoring them. And when this now come down with the disease, with the infection, we took care of them immediately. So it's not a panic. There shouldn't be any fear.
The guests say, although the virus has capacity to cripple the economy, it is imperative for state and local governments as well as citizens to take ownership of the fight and cooperate with the federal government in its efforts to preventing the spread of the virus.
The key problem we have in health in Nigeria is the fact that when you are sick, instead of going to the health personnel to help you, you assume that you know, and you take medication by yourself. Even at the airport, when they tell some people to fill forms or to be checked, some people think, no, they don't need it, or they think that they are VIPs.
The extent to which we prevent is contingent upon the information, correct information made available to citizens from all relevant agencies that have to do with the containment of this disease.
This is where I think our appeal to states and local governments becomes even more and more relevant. Abattoirs, markets are all run by state and local governments.
And motor parks.
So while we sit on top here in Abuja, dishing out, policies, money, the points of entry, sensitizing people, because there must also be concrete effort.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed warns against spread of fake news.
Other fake news was that if you take garlic, it will cure the virus. It's not true.
Instead, citizens are advised to call the helpline 0800 970010 for inquiries and information on the COVID-19 in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
Let's join Dotun Oguyemi in our Lagos studio for more reports on Nationwide. Hi, Dotun.
Hello, Nolin, and welcome to Lagos. The Minister of State for Health, Senator Olonibe Mamora, says the federal government is unrelenting in the pursuit and adoption of measures aimed at curbing the spread of the coronavirus. He made this known at a conference on improving health with innovations, technology, and sustainable financing in Lagos. Hingidunjan Adams reports.
Following the outbreak of the COVID-19 strain of coronavirus, key players in the health sector the world over have been working tirelessly to contain the spread of the virus, which has claimed many lives in several countries. This gathering in Lagos is one of many by medical experts. The approach is brainstorming on effective ways to expand the scope of medical research in Nigeria, as innovations and new technologies for treatment are not realizable without adequate financial backing.
You do have healthy, quote unquote, healthy carriers who remain asymptomatic, that is, they don't manifest any symptoms. So that may compel us to change our strategy, that maybe as many contacts that have been established with the index case, we may have to test all of them.
Healthcare can be delivered to people in rural areas, in communities and villages without building big hospitals. We don't need big hospitals again, but we need big innovations.
The medical experts are optimistic of a transformed health sector in Nigeria, given the renewed zeal by stakeholders to embrace mainstream ways of preventing and treating diseases. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Now that Nigeria has 2 cases of the novel coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, to deal with, port managers have put in place several measures to avoid the spread of the virus from the seaports. This was the target at a sensitization meeting between officials and terminal operators, as well as other key players in the sector. Imolayo Tokide has details.
Nations' ports are major entry points for goods and persons into the country. And like the international airports, the virus could be brought in through the ports from other countries. This is why key players are meeting to discuss comprehensively on global best practices to be implemented to tackle the virus.
We deem it fit that there's need for us to discuss what we have done, what we have put in place, and of course what is expected of the terminal operators for them to be able to curtail this menace.
Part of the recommendations include frequent use of hand sanitizers, face masks, temperature screening machines, and hand washing stations at all entry points. The setting up of isolation center to attend to emergencies at the port is also in the making.
Before COVID, there would have been just 1 yellow flag. But with COVID, we are now saying 2 yellow flags so that you are alerting everybody that there is a suspected case on board. And that will now, alert the Port Health as well as our pilots that are going on.
The Nigerian Ports Authority is appealing for more collaboration with other agencies to ensure the seaports are free of the virus, tasking terminal operators to report any suspected cases by calling these emergency numbers. In Lagos, Imolayo Tokide, NTA News.
And those are the stories making the headlines from Lagos at this hour. It's back to Nolene in Abuja for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Dotun. And still staying with Lagos, as Nigerian government and its agencies heightened sensitization to curtail the spread of COVID-19 since its emergence a few months back, the key players are shifting their gaze to the markets and motor parks, usually populated with the high possibility of person-to-person transmission. Adiola is standing by in one of the popular motor parks in the city to fill us in. Hello, Adiola. All right, what is the situation like in Lagos?
Okay, and they are coming up back right about now. We have people, it's about the rush hour and boarding and the buses to their various destinations. But surprisingly, when I got here, I decided to round it up and see where there is a rush hand stand, where there is a sanitizer, but I saw nothing of such
It appears we cannot continue with Adiola there in Lagos because of the background noise. We are going on break now and come back shortly. Please stay with us.
In collaboration with the NTA, invites the broadcast community to the opening ceremony of the 73rd General Assembly of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, scheduled to hold as follows. Date, Wednesday, March 11th, 2020. Venue, Sheraton Hotels and Towers, Abuja. Time, 8:30 a.m.
Coming on April 2nd, 2020, in the capital city of Abuja, the Ivory 8 Ball, a life-saving fundraising event featuring music and arts in aid of skin cancer patients with albinism. For participation and sponsorship, call Edidiong on 070-197-73352 or Chinwe on 090-559-61514. This event is powered by Nigerian Television Authority, TV Enterprises, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, African Independent Television, and Ray Power FM, Silverbird Television, and Rhythm FM. The Albino Foundation, the Ivory 8 Ball, for a worthy cause. Watch out.
On Tuesday Live this week, the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, and Job Creation in Nigeria.
The white collar job is not there. You know, degree or no degree, you use your brain, you use your hands so that you can have something doing, so that you can earn a living.
Tune in Tuesday Live at 10:30 p.m. with those who should know, profiling best practices. Don't miss it.
My name is Yemi Adetunji, the COO downstream of NNPC. Ever since the closure of the borders, we have seen a marked reduction of about 10% in terms of the evacuation of what you call loadouts of PMS, which equates to about 6 million liters per day, essentially because of the border closure, because of certain aspects we've also done as NNPC, working with our sister organizations, sister agencies, Nigerian Customs, DPR, Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources, and other agencies, and also what we call Operation White, which is an intervention we have put in place to trace and track every molecule of petroleum products as they arrive in country through the vessels, as they move through the depots, and as they're evacuated with trucks out of the depots.
Welcome back. Now to security. Nigerian Army says it will strengthen collaboration with its United States counterparts with a view to tackling security challenges facing the country. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Buratai stated this in a message to the opening of a training engagement with California National Guard at Warrant Officers Academy, Jaji. Ahmed Umar Kudan has the story.
Over the years, Nigeria has been battling with security challenges ranging from terrorism, insurgency, and banditry, among other threats. A team from California National Guard, USA, is in the country to interface on new techniques of tackling the challenges.
A lot of times just not understanding what we're fighting is a big part of it. Once we learn and understand and we can share our knowledge with one another, we can adjust properly to each of those concerns.
Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Tukurisu Buratai, represented by Commander Infantry Corps Center, Major General Stevenson Olabanji, describes the training engagement as timely.
In this regard, both sides will build on the lessons learned to modify perceptions, approaches, and methods of handling their peculiar as well as common security challenges.
Most of them have transnational character. They are so polluted that they require coalition, alliances, and engagements between countries in order to contain them.
The one-week training engagement will enable participants to share their operational experiences for enhanced national security. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudang, NTA News.
Military dexterity in curbing insecurity in northeast Nigeria and other parts of the country is receiving commendations from a coalition of civil society groups. Referencing remarkable reduction in incidents of bomb explosion and suicide attacks, the coalition is encouraging Nigerians to support the military to achieve desired success against insurgency. Onengie Fineface reports.
Though it is not yet over in the fight against insurgency in northeast Nigeria, progress made by the Nigerian military is unrelenting in protecting the territorial integrity of the nation.
The many progress of our gallant troops as they
this coalition of society groups believes that beyond achievements on the battlefield, service chiefs have helped to reduce forced work for many insurgents to repent and willingly surrender their arms.
We mourn the bereaved and salute the sacrifices made by the gallant soldiers who laid their lives for our comfort and peace. We celebrate the gallantry, commitment, patriotism to our fatherland. The successes against the insurgents are statements to the capacity of the service chiefs.
They advised Nigerians to support the military in prayers and by sharing vital information to achieve total victory over insurgents and other criminals in the country. In Abuja, Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
We move over to Kano. Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, has held his first engagement less than 24 hours after his appointment as the 15th Fulani Emir of the ancient city. Lawal Salau Inua reports that the first royal sitting had in attendance all the king makers and other traditional title holders of the Emirate Council.
Nasarawa Royal Palace was today flooded with well-wishers and jubilators, trooped to congratulate the new Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero. It is also the first point of call of the 15th Fulani Emir, who served as Wamban Kano before he was appointed as Emir of Bichi. District heads and traditional tattoo holders were also at the palace to show their solidarity to the new Emir. Others also present were business community from both Kano and neighboring states, cheering the monarch in his happiest moment. Nasarawa Royal Palace is a place where Kano emirs usually go for leisure during celebrations and also a home to tombs of past leaders of the ancient city. Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, is expected to pay homage to his mother at Gandun Albasa before he returned back to his personal residence at Mandawari quarters in Kano Metro Palace. From Kano, Lawal Sallo Inua, NTA News.
Still staying with Kano, the mood in Kano is that of peace and serenity as people go about their lawful business 24 hours after the enthronement of the 15th Fulani Emir Aminu Ado Bayero. Elizabeth Yela Lamido, who went around the metropolis, reports that the atmosphere in the city is calm.
It is business as usual in Kano as people go about their daily activities following the announcement of Aminu Ado Bayero as the Emir of the Kano Emirates. However, coming to his residence, Sabon Titi, Mandawari, it is a different scenario.
He is the right person to carry everybody along. He is peace-loving, accommodating.
He's a very honest person, very straightforward. Is a man of his word.
He's going to make the society to achieve a lot from his leadership, and we know he has succeeded his father.
Aminu Ado was the Emir of Bichi. Now he is the 15th Emir of the Kano Emirate. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the dethroned 14th Kano Emir Ahmadu Sanusi II has arrived to Lafia of Nasarawa State this afternoon en route town on exile. Hamza Musa Makarfi reports that the deposed emir was received at the government house by top government officials and royal fathers before proceeding on the 100-kilometer trip to Awe. The place of exile for the deposed emir was changed from local town of Nasarawa West to Awe due to security reasons and remote location. Commonwealth countries are working to connect through technology and modern media to fast-track the achievement of goals of the body. The organization is using the 2020 Commonwealth Day celebration in Abuja to stress the need for networking, which goes beyond education, medicine, and conservation of the environment. Deborah Abola reports.
Wealth initiative to serve as the melting pot for social educational promotion and also encourage understanding of ethnic cultural values of its member countries is better summed up in Queen Elizabeth III's message to the 2020 celebration.
The blend of tradition serves to make us stronger, individually and collectively, by providing the ingredients needed for social, political, and economic resilience.
Commonwealth Society of Nigeria here resolves to enhance contributions to the realization of global peace and transformation by enhancing connectivity with the youths, among others.
We use the model innovation through social media to reach out to the young people and to the whole society on our message to this year 2020 Commonwealth Day. Through the social media, we can easily to reach everybody in a minute.
By the time we educate them and we inculcate in them the need of living in harmony with one another, I think the menace of this anti-social behavior or insecurity will be curtailed.
The Commonwealth can go as well to impact a global peace through education by dedicating themselves to the things that has to do with education and then encouraging the younger ones on the need and the importance of education through diversities of recognitions worldwide.
There is the hope here that with consistency in the implementation of Commonwealth programs and plans, particularly the use of timely dialogue and conflict resolution, the world will be a better place for all to live. Deborah Agbola, NTA News.
The fifth session of the ECOWAS Parliament has elected new leaders to pilot legislative activities of the community for the 4 years. National Assembly correspondent Vivian Idepevo reports that Nigeria's Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wase, emerged the first Deputy Speaker of the regional parliamentary body.
President of Niger, Yusufu Muhammadu, who signed the act awarding the speakership of the ECOWAS Parliament to Sierra Leone, set the tone for the inauguration of the new members of Parliament and subsequent election of new leaders.
It is up to you, among other things, to mobilize your respective parliaments to support the states in the combating terrorism and implementation of progress projects of the regional integration agenda, in particular the single currency and infrastructure.
We need to ensure that in all our actions we ensure inclusive social development which is founded on democracy.
Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Sidi Mohamed Tunis, paid tribute to President Muhammadu Buhari for his exemplary leadership style and unwavering fight against corruption, which has influenced his proposal for the establishment of a public accounts committee in pursuit of financial integrity for the regional parliamentary body.
Let me also state that during the fifth legislation, economic issues, especially poverty eradication, rising inflations and high cost of living that have overwhelmed our states will be at the top of our agenda and undertakings.
Unity in diversity is the message Nigeria took to the 5th session of the ECOWAS Parliament, as 34 members unanimously nominated the 35th member, Ahmed Idris Wasi, to the office of the first Deputy Speaker.
What we should expect from this legislature is teamwork in the interest of our sub-region, in the interest of our own community. We're going to collaborate with the executive to ensure in our various countries we have peaceful coexistence, we have free movement of people, we have security, and then above all, economic improvement in our various countries.
What we have seen here is appreciation of the contribution of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Forces, President Muhammadu Buhari, in giving all the necessary support toward the subsistence of ECOWAS.
We must be able to be innovative and work towards having an harmonized approach to tackling issues of insecurity, cross-country banditry and crime.
With the leadership in place, the ECOWAS Parliament says it is hitting the ground running. From Niamey, Niger Republic, Vivian Idekbefo, NTA News.
And back home, stakeholders at a one-day joint public hearing on bills for the establishment of 3 colleges of education have agreed on the amendment of the bills to read as Colleges of Education Technical. This is to further boost the desired technological advancement of the country through education while improving security in the country.
These are the one for the establishment of College of Education Giwa in Kaduna State, College of Education Mutumbio Taraba State, and College of Education Ibukun Osun State. Apart from the amendment, representatives from the state of the proposed institutions expressed willingness to donate land for free.
The seal of O of the land has been secured as a kind of a support for this institution.
The technical colleges are aimed at training students to acquire technical and vocational skills, thereby translating them into entrepreneurs.
A dissenting voice from Osun, however, called for the establishment of the institution in Iwo for equity rather than Ibukun, while another from Taraba State preferred it in Mambila, Saruna local government.
And for those people who are agitating, let me assure you that the Senate is a very fair Senate.
We are approaching the bills with great concern because education will always be important in the determination of a nation's development and progress.
At this time, we need a lot more teachers. We need to train a lot more teachers in all areas of education.
Senator Fada Unshi Francis Adenibe sponsored the bill for the establishment of College of Education Ibukun, Osun State. Sani Uba sponsored that of Giwa College of Education, Kaduna State, while Senator Yusuf Abubakar Yusuf sponsored that of Mutumbio College of Education, Taraba State.
Let's now join Abdullahi Mustafa live in Kano to bring us up to speed on the ambience of the city as the new emir emerges. Abdullahi, what's happening there?
Thank you very much. It is all you saw maybe on the previous report, the 2 reports by Lawal Sallow and Elizabeth. So since yesterday, shortly after the announcement of Aminu Ado Bayero as Emir of Kano, the 15th in the Fulani clan, many hundreds of well-wishers in the city thronged his residence, which is not up to 500 meters away from the palace, to congratulate him and pay homage. And this morning they did the same thing and followed him to the Nasarawa Palace, which is a royal enclave, or rather a royal guest palace, about 5 kilometers away from the palace in the city, which is very close to the Kano government house. It is a place where I think it was said to have been built by Emir Abbas which he was the first emir to be turban appointed by the colonial masters in 1903, because it was being used as a stopover point by the emir to go while going to greet the Kano resident then. And subsequently, over the years, successive emirs have been using it to rest and also lodge some royal guests, and also while going to greet governor during Hawan Nasarawa on Salah Day, that is Eid al-Kabir and Eid al-Fitr. And also that palace is also very significant because it hosts a graveyard or tombs of some Kano emirs from the 8th emir, that is Emir Abbas, who ruled between 1903 to 1919 up to late Ado Bayero, the father of the present emir. So Kano is very peaceful, calm, and everybody is going about his normal business. And as you may have seen in the report, people are going there while he was at the that palace, the Nasarawa Palace, because he has not yet entered the Gidarumfa Palace, which is the Kano Royal Palace, because he has to be presented some royal regalia, some of the personal effects that are very unique with the Kano Emirate, like the twin spears that you may be seeing emirs holding, that red and green colored, the Dabo hat that the emir wears during the Hawan Daushe, Durbar, and other ceremonial gatherings. There is another knife they call Wukar Dabo, and a royal shoe which the emir wears during ceremonial outings. So that will be done any moment from tomorrow or a day after. So as soon as that is done and the former emir fully packed out of the palace, so the new emir will move into it, and he will not enter the palace through that entrance that people used to see in front of, in the southern gate. It has to be cut, because inside there are old walls that were built about 700 years ago, built by Emir Muhammad Rumfa around 16th century. So that is the tradition. It has to be cut for him, and when he enters, it will be closed.
All right, thank you. It's good to hear that Kano is peaceful, Abdullahi. Thank you for the update. Next is commercials. Stay with us.
Skills and technology define the quality of television transmission output. Training and retraining of appropriate personnel on the management of modern equipment is therefore a key competition strategy in the dynamic television industry. NTA TV College, Jos, invites relevant desk officers to special engineering courses as follows. 1 week course on audio engineering, operations and maintenance, date 20th to 24th April 2020. 1 week intensive course on electrical power, earthing, lighting, uninterrupted power supply UPS, inverter and solar system, date 1st to 5th June 2020. 1 week intensive course on studio broadcast equipment and outside broadcast operation, date 15th to 19th June 2020. 1 week course on new technologies, optical fiber, IP technologies, automation storage and wireless technology, date 10th to 14th August 2020. The venue for all courses is NTA Television College, near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Course fee 40,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Alinko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
We came back that day. Our light tripped off from the pole. Once I saw again, smoke from that window, from that kitchen. I was like, what is going on? Because they say he went to the car to go and bring for and gel, like when he's pointing, explode.
Lassa fever occurs when a person gets bitten by a rat carrying the Lassa virus. It is also contacted through the consumption of foods that have been contaminated by either the saliva, urine, or excreta of the rats. Lassa fever is deadly, so protect yourself and loved ones from it. Keep rats away from your homes. Ensure that leftover foods are properly covered at night and heat up properly before consumption. Wash fruits properly before you eat. Maintain regular hand wash with soap and water, as well as environmental sanitation. Report all feverish conditions and bleeding from the nose or mouth to the health facility nearest to you, and don't indulge in self-medication. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA.
We appreciate your time with us on Nationwide. Our next port of call is Maiduguri, where Abubakar Mohammed Musa has the next set of reports. Hello, Abubakar.
Nolan, and thanks for joining us here. Borno State Government, through Ministry of Health and other partners, have strategized on development of work plan on how to tackle the menace of coronavirus in case of any outbreak, in addition to awareness campaign that is ongoing across the state. Yagum Subukar has an update.
Even though the global outbreak of COVID-19 has not spread into Borno, however, with the 2 confirmed index cases in Nigeria as of today, the state government has made all relevant measures to contain the virus in case of any outbreak.
We have all the high-tech equipments and instruments that we need to support somebody. It's called intensive care equipment.
Government has also made available training on local health educators from across the 27 local government areas on health education tools on coronavirus. In addition to this, relevant authorities involved meet on a daily basis at the Emergency Operations Center to review the global, national, and state situation of COVID-19 and discuss how to manage it should there be any outbreak. Investigation by NTA News reveals that nothing much is happening at motor parks in terms of protection, even though drivers seem to be aware of the virus.
We
just have a meeting with our members and told them that at least they should be careful in interacting with some people.
The state government, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health, through Port Health Services in conjunction with the Immigration Unit, have also put in place measures at the Maiduguri International Airport to screen all passengers coming into the state, in addition to sensitization on the populace on dangers of the virus and safety tips. In Maiduguri, Yagum Subukar, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Works has handed over 1.53-kilometer reconstructed internal road to University of Maiduguri as part of intervention projects in federal tertiary institutions going on across the nation. Jadwa John Jesney reports that the gesture was to enhance smooth movement for inhabitants of the institution.
Established in 1975, University of Maiduguri is a long-standing institution that has distinguished itself among its peers across the country. The rehabilitated and reconstructed 1.53-kilometer internal road is one amongst the 18 completed intervention projects in federal tertiary institutions nationwide out of the 43 proposed by the federal government. Delighted by the gesture, management of the university says it is determined to keep the project in good shape so as to enjoy it to the fullest.
This is a university that has stayed for over 40 years now, and expectedly it is supposed to have grown to a certain level that will require this infrastructure all around.
there is ease in movement to our own hostels and lecture theatres. And we are appealing and calling upon the Federal Ministry of Works to continue with such interventions.
Representative of Works Minister, Borno State Controller of Works Engineer Yahayabi Ali extended federal government's determination to do more in order to upgrade Nigerian tertiary institutions to world-class standards.
As I'm talking to you, we finished the deep soil investigation for constructing a brand new pedestrian bridge outside the gate of the university. This will improve safety of road users and most especially the university community, students and other visitors.
With this intervention and many more from the federal government, this institution will soon be made a more conducive and befitting atmosphere for learning. In Maiduguri, Jadwa John Jesse, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Let's take a break now. Nolin in Abuja will be back with the last segment. Do stay.
All right, Abubakar, we shall take the break later on. Now in Abuja, in a bid to support women's rights and empowerment through a variety of strategic development platforms, took center stage at the launching of Wage Initiative, a non-governmental organization in Abuja. Linda Okorie-Igwe has the report.
The woman is supporting the family, supporting the society and the world at large.
Negligence on women and children has tremendous costs to communities, societies and nations. This is why the Wage Initiative, a non-governmental organization, is setting the pace in doing everything to amplify the voice and demands of the African woman and girls through right advocacy, mental restructuring, and economic empowerment.
What I intend to see at the end of this decade is reduced inequality. We're focusing on SDGs 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, and 16. And these SDGs and their indicators look to reduce the number of out-of-school children, particularly the girl child.
With the theme, Empowered Women, Youth and Girls, Osasu Ibinedon encourages women to speak up at all times and learn to support other women. The primary focus of the Wage Initiative is the empowerment of women and youth, especially those in rural communities. And most importantly, schooling for all girls should be encouraged in all ramifications. In Abuja, Linda Okorie-Igwe, NTA News.
Thank you, Linda. Dibabari is standing by in Port Harcourt for more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Dibabari.
And thank you for joining Port Harcourt. As the State Ministry of Health strives to check the spread of COVID-19, importers and traders have expressed concerns over inflation of goods as the fear of traveling to countries affected by coronavirus heightens. Ijeoma Ogbeke has a situation report.
Since the outbreak of COVID-19, countries like China, Japan, and South Korea have become no-go destinations for importers. The situation, some traders say, is gradually impacting negatively on their business.
We are still relying on the old stock we have. When the stock is going down, the price will go up. So for now, nobody wants to be contaminated.
So when there is a scarcity in the goods, it's going to rise up. The price will rise up because the little ones that is circulated, that is available, the owners will put money. It is going to affect it seriously.
With this sales of last year and this year, trying to travel, one cannot travel and you stock money in the bank. Can't even travel to transact any business for the year 2020. It's not a good development at all.
Meanwhile, Commissioner for Health, Rivers State, Dr. Prince Chike, assured that port heads are at red alert to carry out preventive measures against COVID-19. He said equipment and supportive drugs have been procured to contain possible outbreak of the virus. He emphasized the need for residents to adhere strictly to guidelines on hygienic and other precautionary measures against the virus. In Port Harcourt, Ijeoma Ogbeke, NTA News.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has inaugurated the State-Local Organizing Committee for the hosting of International Sports Press Association World Executive Committee meeting and its Africa Congress scheduled to hold in Port Harcourt by October 2020. Ogediekwe has details of this and other activities of the governor.
Governor Wike charged members of the committee to organize a world-class event that will promote the state. He warned them against any form of infighting among themselves, stressing the need for unity towards hosting an acceptable meeting of the AIPS that will meet international standard.
It is not an African affair alone, it's a world affair. And of course, you know, there are sports writers. Whatever we do will have an impression on them about Port Harcourt, about Nigeria, about Africa. Therefore, there is a need for us to be committed to it. So it is very, very important that you take this assignment very seriously.
The governor directed the committee to submit its preliminary report in 2 weeks. In Port Harcourt, Ogediekwe, NTA News.
And as our beat from this end is back to Nolin for the rest of the news.
And the set of reports from Port Harcourt concludes Nationwide today. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Evel Ame.